I have never in my life seen Vegas look this empty on a Saturday at 1 in the morning. I'm telling you, there is not another soul here at the airport. It's 8:45 in the morning, and this is the state of the Strip. There was a time not long ago when Las Vegas was an unstoppable force, with flights packed to the rafters, taxi lines that snaked for miles outside the airport, and neon so bright it felt like it could burn right through a hangover. This was the city that never blinked, the absolute global capital of indulgence. But now in 2025, something truly shocking is happening. The Strip, once the vibrant, beating heart of entertainment, is starting to look like a ghost town. Airport gates are sitting half empty. Casino floors echo with silence. Valets are just standing around, idle. And for the first time in modern history, Las Vegas is losing more visitors than it's gaining. Now, we're not talking about some temporary slump or just a bad weekend. This is a record-breaking tourist exodus, the biggest we've seen in decades, and it's completely rewriting the future of Sin City. So what's causing it? Some people will tell you it's the economy. Others want to blame crime, the weather, or even bad press. But after months of digging, a clear picture starts to emerge, and honestly, it's far more frustrating than any simple headline. Las Vegas didn't suddenly become less exciting. It became more expensive, more complicated, and frankly, a lot less trustworthy. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain on how a city that was built on generosity completely flipped the script, and why millions of travelers are quietly just walking away. By the end, you'll understand exactly what's happening to the Strip, how it got this bad, and what all of this means for the future of Vegas. Tourism. If you're planning a trip to Vegas, this might be the single most important video you watch this year. Let's get right into it. Part 1. Death by hidden costs. You see, Las Vegas was built on the beautiful illusion of a bargain. Cheap rooms, free drinks, free parking. The promise was always simple. Save on the basics so you can splurge on the fun. That trade-off is what made it irresistible for decades. But in 2025, that illusion has completely collapsed. The Strip now leads the entire nation in hidden costs. Charges that are so widespread that for many travelers, a cheap Vegas getaway is actually more expensive than a week at a resort in Mexico. It all starts the moment you book. A $79 room rate looks like an absolute steal until you get to checkout and discover a $59 resort fee per night, plus taxes and energy surcharges. Parking, that'll be another $20 to $40 per day, even if you don't use the valet. Wi-Fi, sometimes it's included and sometimes it's not. Every click, every step, every single moment feels perfectly engineered to extract just a little more from you. And let's be clear, these aren't luxury upgrades. They're mandatory. Charges buried deep in the fine print, which are only revealed after you've already put in your credit card. There's a name for this psychological trick. It's called drip pricing, and it works. By the time most guests realize what they're actually paying, it's already too late to back out. The numbers tell the whole story. A 2025 travel report found that over 75% of Vegas visitors were hit with unexpected charges on their hotel bill. More than half of them said they would seriously reconsider returning because of it, and it's not just tourists feeling the pinch. Even business travelers and convention organizers are starting to look elsewhere. For decades, Las Vegas was famous for treating its guests like high rollers, even if they were on a low budget. Today, many visitors feel more like walking ATMs. So instead of arriving excited, they show up already irritated. Instead of splurging at the tables, they're tightening their wallets before they've even unpacked their bags. This erosion of trust is absolutely devastating. In the first quarter of 2025 alone, return visits dropped by over 40%, a statistic that is completely unheard of for the Strip. Travelers who used to come every year are now heading to Laughlin, Reno, Phoenix, or even to the boutique hotels just off the Strip that proudly advertise no resort fees. Las Vegas once didn't have to trick people. It won them over, fair and square. But one hidden charge at a time, the magic is fading. And if that frustrated you, just wait until you see how the fees on time, check-in, and checkout penalties are squeezing visitors next. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, please do us a massive favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. It really helps the channel out. more than you know. And let us know in the comments about your most recent experiences on the Vegas Strip, either negative or positive. We'd love to hear your perspective. Okay, let's get back to the video. Part 2, Nickel and Dime City. If the hidden charges set the trap, the time penalties are what spring it. Vegas once called itself a 24/7 city, a place where you could arrive anytime, leave anytime, and just feel free. But in 2025, the clock itself is being monetized. Try to check in before 3 in the afternoon at most strip hotels, and you're immediately slapped with an early check-in fee, anywhere from $30 to $75. Want to stay just a couple of hours later? On your departure day? Well, that's a late checkout fee for you, often tacking on another $50 if not more. A couple just trying to maximize their trip could easily be out an extra $150 for a mere few hours of convenience. And here's the infuriating part. Those rooms are often just sitting there, completely empty, already cleaned, just waiting for someone. But unless you're willing to pay the ransom, you're left dragging your luggage aimlessly through a packed casino or burning time in some loud, chaotic lobby. The very guests who showed up full of excitement now begin their vacation feeling like they've already been taken for a ride. And believe me, the charges don't just stop at the clock. Look, in almost any other city, a tip is your choice. A simple thank you for a job well done. But here, in the Las Vegas of 2025, forced gratuities and so-called service. Charges are just the new reality. Go ahead, order a $14 beer at a pool bar, and don't be surprised to find an 18 to 22% tip already baked in. Sometimes before you've even laid eyes on the bill. And to add insult to injury, the tip line is still sitting there, just waiting for you to double tip without even realizing it. For big parties or bottle service, we're talking about hundreds of extra dollars vanishing from your wallet before you've even had your first drink. And the staff, they rarely explain it beforehand. I mean, why would they? The whole system is designed to work for them, leaving guests walking away feeling utterly hustled. But this goes deeper than just dollars and cents. This is about psychology. Vegas built its entire legend on the idea of generosity. The free drinks, the comped buffets, the free parking. Now it's charging you for the very concept of time itself, and even for showing gratitude. So instead of starting their trip feeling relaxed, visitors feel nickel and dimed before they've even unzipped their suitcase. And instead of leaving, feeling refreshed, they're scrambling out the door under a cloud of pressure, watching every single minute tick by. The downstream effects of this are becoming impossible to ignore. Guests are tipping less at the gaming tables. They're holding back on spending at the restaurants. And many are swearing they'll never come back. They're flocking to boutique hotels just off the strip, or even short-term rentals, places where an early check-in or a late checkout is still treated as a welcome perk, not a penalty. Las Vegas forged its identity on the dream that anything could happen. But the moment a city makes you feel like every second has a price tag, the fun just starts to feel like a taxi meter running constantly in the back of your mind. You don't even have to gamble to lose your money here anymore. All you need to do is arrive a little too early, or decide to stay a little too late. And if you think these time penalties and forced tips are infuriating, what's next cuts even deeper. It's the entertainment itself. Because now, the very shows that made Vegas an icon have turned into their own kind of hidden gamble. Part 3. Entertainment is longer an escape. For decades, Las Vegas was the undisputed king of spectacle. The shows, the concerts, the residencies you just couldn't find anywhere else on Earth. People would happily stand in line, pay top dollar, and leave feeling like they just witnessed magic. But in 2025, the most shocking part of the Vegas experience isn't happening on any stage. It's happening on the checkout page. That $150 ticket for a big name headliner or a dazzling Cirque show, it now routinely soars past $200 by the time you add on the processing fees, facility charges, and convenience costs. And don't think you can avoid them by going to the box office. These fees are everywhere, baked into the very fabric of the transaction. Now multiply that by 2 for a couple, or by 4 for a family, and suddenly you've coughed up an extra $200 to $400 in fees you never saw coming, all before you've even thought about dinner. And this isn't for better seats or some enhanced experience. It's nothing more than a tax on your own excitement. It's a calculated way to squeeze every last drop out of your big night out. And it doesn't just end with the tickets. Step foot inside a Las Vegas arena, theater, or even a sports bar in 2025, and you'll find another sneaky charge lurking on your bill, the venue surcharge. It's an extra 3 to 8% fee that's quietly tacked on to every single thing you eat or drink. This isn't sales tax, and it's not a tip. It's just a mysterious line item that turns a $12 hot dog into something closer to $15. At first glance, it doesn't seem like much. A few dollars here, a couple more there, but when you add it all up over a weekend, those little charges can easily siphon off $50 to $100 from your budget, often without you even noticing until it's too late. And guests aren't just getting angry, they're fundamentally changing how they act. They're eating off-site before the show, they're saying no thanks to the overpriced drinks, and they're simply spending less money on the strip as a whole. And the result? You see it in the empty seats, the quiet bars, and the lost profits for the very places that were trying to pad their percent. Bottom line. In fact, the 2025 tourism report revealed that ticket sales for mid-tier Vegas shows have plummeted by double-digit percentages compared to before the pandemic. And it's not because people suddenly stopped loving live entertainment, it's because they are sick and tired of feeling like they're being played for a fool. This is so important because the promise of Vegas was never just about hitting a jackpot at the tables. It was about the freedom to splurge for a night, to feel like anything was possible. But when the very ticket in your hand feels like just another part of the con, the magic just evaporates. And when visitors start to skip the show, they're skipping the dinner, the cocktails, and the chance to try their luck at the tables later on. You know, the house may always win, but when a guest feels completely played before the show even starts, they're not going to stick around for the main event. And if you thought losing entertainment was the worst of it, just wait until you hear what's happened to the gaming floor, the very soul of Vegas, here in 2025. This is part 4, the Great Gaming Divide. You see, for decades, the allure of Las Vegas was beautifully simple. Anyone with $5 in their pocket could pull up a chair and feel like a high roller. That thrill wasn't just for the millionaires, it was for everybody. But now, in 2025, that entire dream is just evaporating. The low-limit tables, they're basically a myth now. Even the simplest games, the ones that used to welcome newcomers, now have an invisible velvet rope reserved for the truly wealthy. We're talking minimum bets of $25, even $50 during peak hours. And that's just for starters. The specialty tables, they climb astronomically higher. And it goes beyond just the buy-in. The casinos have been quietly weaving in these little gaming surcharges, tiny rule changes and side bets that act like hidden taxes on every single hand you play. Think blackjack paying out 6 to 5 instead of the classic 3 to 2. Imagine mandatory $1 or $2 side bets that are just part of the game now. They're even skimming a percentage off poker tournament entries before a single card hits the felt. And the result? Your bankroll just vanishes. An experience that used to last all night is now over in a flash. As one regular told us, my friends and I used to play for hours on $200. Now, that same $200 can be gone in 15 minutes. It's not fun anymore. Honestly, it feels like I'm being punished. And the numbers tell the exact same story. A recent 2025 gaming report showed that the number of casual players has plummeted by double digits year after year, even while casino profits are soaring. You know what that means, right? It means fewer people are playing, but the ones who are losing a whole lot more, a whole lot faster. And that's a truly dangerous game to play, because Vegas was never really about the gambling itself. It was about that shimmering illusion of possibility, the idea that maybe, just for one night, you could be the one to beat the odds. But when the floor itself feels rigged, when every single hand comes with a hidden tax, and every rule is tilted away from you, that magic just dies. The entire psychology of the place shifts. Instead of feeling welcomed, new players feel completely shut out. Instead of shrugging off a loss with a laugh, they're whispering about being fleeced. And for the loyal old-timers, it's a gut punch. The retirees who would drive in from Arizona for a few hours, at the low-limit tables, the young couples trying to make a weekend budget last, they've vanished. And the sad part is, they might be gone for good. Vegas used to whisper, "Come as you are." Now, it's shouting, Don't even think about it unless you're loaded. This isn't just about a few extra dollars, it's the very soul of the city being stripped away. Sure, the house always wins, but if the guest decides to just go home, then in the long run, nobody wins. And if you thought the casino floor was the last sacred space, what's coming next is even more unbelievable. Las Vegas is now making its guests pay for the city's own power bill and carbon footprint. Welcome to Part 5, the Green Fee Gamble. By this point, you've heard about the resort fees, the parking fees, the showtime penalties, and the gaming surcharges that are bleeding travelers dry. But there is a brand new charge appearing on bills up and down the strip, one that's catching even the most cynical Vegas veterans by surprise. They're calling it the eco fee or the sustainability charge. In 2025, hotel after hotel is sneakily tacking on these energy or carbon surcharges, usually somewhere between $4 and $8 a night. Now on the surface, it sounds almost noble, doesn't it? But for the guests who have to pay it, it's downright insulting. I mean, come on, this is Las Vegas, the city of 24-hour neon lights, sprawling ice-cold casino floors, and literal man-made waterfalls built in the middle of a desert. And now, they're handing the bill for all that excess straight to the visitor. One tourist laid it out perfectly. We stayed for 5 nights and got hit with a $35 eco fee. When we asked what it was for, the clerk just mumbled something about general operations. Last I checked, general operations isn't exactly saving the planet. And believe me, they are not the only one feeling this way. The travel forums are on fire with warnings about these so-called green fees. Most of them are buried so deep in the fine print, you don't even notice them until you're checking out. And here's the kicker. Unlike parking, you can't say no. And who wants to get into a shouting match at the front desk when you have a flight to catch? After a week of being nickel and dimed, this final fee just feels like the city is twisting the knife. Suddenly, even the idea of environmental responsibility has been turned into another hustle, and the backlash is growing louder every day. Guest satisfaction scores are tanking for hotels that use this charge. In fact, some of the smaller off-strip hotels are now proudly advertising no eco fees, the same way they used to boast about free Wi-Fi. It's the exact same playbook we've seen before. A small, infuriating charge that points to something much bigger. A fundamental breakdown of trust. But believe me, the story doesn't stop with the carbon tax. This is just the latest move in a much longer, more troubling game. Coming up, we're diving into how Las Vegas's new pricing scheme is turning the excitement of planning a trip into a nightmare, long before you even think about booking a flight. This brings us to part 6, planning fatigue. That's right, the Vegas trip that now starts stressing you out from the comfort of your own home. You know, once upon a time, planning a Vegas trip was half the adventure. That excitement would start brewing for weeks as you built your perfect itinerary, booked show tickets, and picked your hotel. It felt like you were assembling your own personal quest. But fast forward to 2025, and all that excitement has been replaced by pure planning fatigue. See, the fees no longer wait to ambush you at check-in. They're baked right into the planning stage long before you even board the plane. Hotels, attractions, day clubs, even restaurants are all tacking on these, quote, online booking fees or digital convenience fees, charges that quietly add $10 to $40 to every single reservation. And not for upgrades, not for priority access, but just for the privilege of clicking a button. Just picture this. You spot a great midweek hotel deal for $109 a night. But by the time you reach the checkout page, a vague digital service fee has mysteriously inflated it to $149. Or maybe you book a steakhouse dinner for $220 for two, only to find the final bill is $265 after a so-called processing charge. Let's be real. This isn't about premium service. It's a pure margin grab. And the irony is, digital systems should be lowering costs, not creating new ones. But in this new Vegas, those savings are simply flipped into profit and billed directly to you. And it's not just hotels or restaurants. Popular day clubs,